They're coming, and unless you look closely behind the wheel, you may not even notice.
Empty driver's seats, no hands on the wheel. In Texas, the future arrived more than 3 years ago, as self-driving cars got their early test drives alongside your daily commute. From Waymo to Tesla to Avride, roughly 300 fully autonomous vehicles operate on Austin roads alone, with even more now in Dallas, San Antonio, and Houston. For riders, it's an experience.
I called it by accident because I called an Uber and it said Waymo and I didn't exactly know what that was. At first I was a little terrified and anxious. I also FaceTimed my parents. I was like, you need to see this. They were like, you better be wearing your seatbelt.
Some people love it, some are still not sure what to make of it.
It was a little weird.
They are incredibly creepy.
Let's go. Let's see if we can get one.
And I get it. The first few minutes feels strange. You keep looking over, expecting to see someone in the driver's seats. But once you settle in, it starts to feel almost normal.
It's amazing to think that this is driving by itself with no help, and we're navigating daytime traffic in downtown Austin.
From Austin to cities nationwide, thousands of autonomous cars are rolling out. But Texas came first, thanks to a law putting autonomous vehicles under state control, not city control. That means companies face one set of rules statewide instead of a patchwork from city to city.
Texas legislature passed a law on autonomous vehicles back in 2017. And this is Senate Bill 2205. And what it did, it says municipalities cannot have additional regulations on these cars on top of the state.
That legal green light helped make Austin one of the biggest and earliest proving grounds in the country. The test drives came with some detours.
Technically we're here, but we are across the street from the Marriott in a parking lot, which is not a choice that I would have, and I'm sure an Uber driver wouldn't have this choice either, but because it's a robot, it does not care.
And that raises a question. What happens when something actually goes wrong?
They're going to be a little bit slower on some of their approaches. So you have to keep that in mind when you're sharing the road with an autonomous vehicle.
That may sound simple, but in the moment, it may not feel simple at all. Just recently in Austin, a Waymo was caught on camera blocking emergency crews responding to a deadly shooting downtown. And across social media, they've been spotted speeding through school zones in the city and unexpectedly stopping on train tracks.
And it's amazing, you can see what it sees here.
So after riding in one myself, I wanted to know, are these cars actually safer? To find out, we pulled every crash report in Austin over the past 3 years. In 2025 alone, there were about 12,000 crashes citywide. Only 85 involved autonomous vehicles. But that number can be misleading. Because of the 834,000 vehicles on Austin roads, only about 300 are fully autonomous. To get a fair comparison, we compared crash rates and found that only about 1% of human-operated cars were involved in a crash. For vehicles operating with no driver, that number increases to 28%. We examined injuries as well. Crashes involving human drivers led to about 8,000 injuries and 99 deaths. Autonomous vehicle crashes resulted in 8 injuries and no deaths. We found that per vehicle, autonomous cars crash more often, but the crashes tend to be far less severe.
If Waymo is engineering their cars to be more cautious such that it's fender benders and not T-bone accidents, what does it look like in terms of the accidents per capita, writ large?
So the question is not whether these vehicles make mistakes. They do. The question is whether they make fewer deadly ones. Waymo's chief security officer says test drives like the one in Texas make roads safer.
Data from our first 127 million fully autonomous miles indicates our driver is 10 times less likely to be involved in a serious injury or worse crash compared to human drivers.
Lawmakers in Washington are still trying to decide who should regulate them and how.
America is at a crossroads in transportation policy. My home state of Texas understands that clear rules enable growth, investment, and safety. But AVs can't just stop at Texas's border.
In February, leaders in Congress, including Texas Senator Ted Cruz, debated whether states or the federal government should decide.
Without federal oversight, we risk a fragmented patchwork of state laws.
Let's not kid ourselves. While self-driving technology is exciting, it has a long way to go, and our regulatory system is even further behind.
For now, the future is already here. It's not whether to share the roads with them. You are already doing that. The question is whether people in charge of keeping you safe are moving just as fast as these cars are.